You gotta go with me. See, I always wanted to be a part of like a good time. I never wanted to be an individual that pushed separation, opposition, hatred, gossip. I never wanted a channel to be like that. I never wanted to mention people's names just because they were trending, just because it was controversial. I never really wanted to be that individual. I grew up in the 90s, and the 90s was a good time. They created a clock to kind of define how close we are to like doomsday. And in the 90s, this clock was dialed back the furthest it's ever been, basically implying we're the furthest away from that type of doomsday scenario. The 90s was great. And I mean, I remember theme songs and Family Matters, Full House theme song, all that. I just remember theme songs making me feel good. I remember coming to certain, I guess we call it platforms, ABC, Nickelodeon, and feeling good. And I was like, you know what, damn it, what's wrong with getting back to that feeling? So when I get messages like, peace family, me and my daughter dance to the intro music, I get clips of, you know, I get all kind of clips when it comes to like my videos. So it fills my heart up, makes me feel real like honored. I'm honored that we can have a good time together. And you know, I don't want to waste too much time with this intro. I know y'all time is precious. I know that you would love for me to kind of just get right into this. Shouts out to y'all. 63 people in the building, less than 5 minutes. Shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to the video. Let me just show you it since we get the benefit of YouTube. Man, so much happening in the world. So much happening in the world right now. All right, here we go. So shouts out to y'all. Q Reeves Experience. We almost at 20,000. The goal is to try to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of July, and we are on course. We stay the course. We go to make it. This video has gotten 21,000 views. I'm honored. I'm happy that y'all are able to kind of take this style of expression. I don't even want to use the word teaching, but this style of expression to kind of be comfortable with me doing it in a more organic way. And when I say organic, it's a flow, family. I'm flowing with y'all while I'm doing these videos. I'm joining y'all with some of these movie clips. I'm expanding on some ideologies right here with y'all. It's a together thing. That way we can kind of be together in this. This is why I appreciate it. I mean, people told me I should knock these videos down to 20 minutes, 25 minutes to strip away. I think someone was like, yeah, to slice it down to 20 minutes so you just have the like highlighted points. And I'm like, bruh, the whole conversation is highlighted. This is high vibrational conversation. This is illuminated conversation. Every second matters. This is what we have to start to conceptualize. Every second matters. Every breath matters. If I'm using my breath to express something, it ain't being in vain. I'm not just using this breath for no reason. Everything counts. Stop trying to speed so fast to the finish line. That's how you fall asleep. Remember the turtle race. Remember the race between the turtle and the hare. You speed and moving so fast, you fall asleep. You get put to sleep by a pan. You go to sleep. Nap. And this is the goal, to put you to sleep. Sleepwalkers. For y'all to be walking around not having a clue what's happening around you, while then there are real deals, real contracts, real expressions of principalities and ideas being summoned forward and manifested forward off of your backs. Welcome to the Q Reeves experience. Welcome on there, family. Thank y'all for showing up. Woo! I got the tribe in here. We the best platform. We the best channel on this platform. Thank you. Teamwork. We did this. We do this. What if I'm going to tell you how powerful this platform is. I had a guest up here. Her name is Hika. We've done several videos together. She does an exceptional job with the way that she conceptualizes her ideas, and an exceptional job with how she expressed them, and even having them on PowerPoint or just that fire. She's on fire. And she expressed how she's working on getting a regression. Well, just so I'm gonna let you know, this is how powerful the regression, this is how powerful the collective is. The collective made sure she got her regression. That's all I'm gonna say. When I ain't supposed to be talking too much about it. So all I'm gonna say is the collective shows up. When I mean the collective shows up, the collective shows up. I don't know about anyone else's channel. I don't know about their world, on their platforms, or on this platform. When I say the collective shows up, the collective shows up. If I'm saying that I'm working on a dental fund right now, what does the collective do? They show up. And when I mean showing up, Q, check on oil pulling. Q, I don't have too much. Here's $3 that I'm gonna contribute towards the dental work that you need. That's showing up. You have to realize, I don't care about you showing out. It's not always about showing out. Sometimes just simply showing up can help a person not feel so alone, empty, abandoned, which is the narrative in America right now and seeping into the rest of the world. Abandonment, alone, in this with no one else. It's craziness. But thank y'all for being here, family. Thank y'all. This video is definitely one that I thought we need to tap into. Love what you've been doing. Loving the flow. Cute. Thank you. Teamwork. What we've been doing. It's okay for us to say we. It's okay. We are doing this. I'm not doing this. We are doing this. And whether you want to look at it as a we, as a collection of myself, we could look at it like that. But I'm talking about us. We show up. We think about these things. We push through the hard moments. We deal with our emotions. We are doing what we're supposed to do. That's why this is a we thing. This is why we have a channel like this. We got a channel like this. Not just me. This is us. Isn't it though? Hika's fire. Y'all a great team. Isn't it though? We a great team. So today's video, the root races of Earth, Polarians, Hyperboreans, and the Tartarian Empire. Psst. Is Trump their new king? I mean, you know, if anything, the Q Reeves experience should make you go, If anything, coming on this platform should make you go, I don't think you understand that America has yet to be initiated into the realm of empires. This is why baseball is an American sport that consists of empires. This is why you have a huge building in a Tartarian area known as the Empire State Building. Because America has yet to be initiated into the empire, just like America has yet to fully embrace the Galactic Federation. This is why the video I did a few days ago is so relevant right now, is because this is America. And you're right here in the thick of it. I gotta be real wise with today's video though, family. I just need y'all to know that. I'm kind of tapping into things that, see, here's the beautiful thing about surface people. And these are alphabet agencies. These are their overseers. Even your gods and goddesses, a lot of them are surface. They have no depth. They remember they walk on water. They don't have no depth. Get that little code? It's like, I know it's great that you could walk on water, but what, we ain't acknowledging those that could swim through it? Disney got a movie right now called The Woman in the Ocean, or The Woman Who Swam the Ocean. I don't know the exact name of the movie, but it's about a young lady who swims the English Canal 21 miles to show that she is just as strong as any male energy out here right now. The things that she's inspired. Do you understand? Women weren't even able to swim 100 years ago. It was illegal for a woman to swim. They weren't even able to go swimming. So have any of you ever heard of a Polarian? Have any of you ever heard of a Hyperborean? Have any of you ever heard of the Tartarian Empire? And hopefully, by the end of this video, you're going to have a familiarity with all three of these things. But I'm curious, have any of you ever dialed into this idea before? And for you to say, I've only heard of the Tartarians, you're doing well. The Tartarians is buried history. And the fact that you're able to illuminate oneself or illuminate one's mind into the past is a powerful thing. And sometimes it comes through memories. And for some reason, you got into the alignment of the memory of the Tartarian Empire. Okay. Yeah, I've heard them from Black Magic and from you. Lit. D said, I definitely heard of the Tartarians and Polaris. Yes. Only Taurus. Only Tartarus. All right. Now, I forgot to include this clip. Hold on. All right. I forgot to include this clip. Hold on. Let me just send this to myself. My bad. Okay. All right. I got it. So I need you to understand how names work. Names don't always describe an identity. Sometimes names describe position. For example, many of you may have heard of the last name Rivers. This is a name to describe those that dwell by a river. Many of you have heard of the infamous name George W. Bush. Bush being a name to define those by the bush. Africanus, Africa. Those of the goddess Africanus, or more specifically, those of the womb of Africanus. So names have so much to do with position, and one's position can help define one's identity. Now, this position we refer to as nature. And everyone's nature is not the same. Some souls' nature is Polarian. Some souls' nature is Hyperborean. Some souls' nature is Tartarian. So you have to pay attention to the nature of things, to the nature of people, nature, environment. And there is an entity or a deity of their nature. This is real. This is real talk. This is how you have different religious institutions around the world with different world religious leaders. So I want us to really be able to conceptualize the idea of Trump and the nature of Trump being Tartarian. And we're going to get into that. But just conceptualize. The name represents position, environment. And there are two things that are influencing your environment. Your environment, the outer environment, meaning the outside or nature around you. It can influence your identity. You then have the nature within you, your human nature. You know how there's a term, Michael Jackson used this, Pharrell used this, human nature, which would be almost like the nature of the human. And they're trying to change the nature of the human, change the identity of the human. This counts. This is why all these words have Aryan in it. Polarian, Hyperborean, Tartarian. Because we are describing a form of entity that breathes air and connects to the air. Remember, names are identities, but also explain position. Thank you so much, Veronica, for the super chat, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I wanted just to make sure everyone was able to get in here. 20 minutes. Let's go. All right. So the first thing I'm going to show you . All right. So what we're looking at now is a picture of ancient maps. And these maps are showing the North Pole. Near the North Pole, they refer to this sometime as Polyarctic. They also refer to this area as Polaris. They often describe this as the homeland of the North or North Star. So, what the people on this planet would do is they would often look at the brightest star in the sky and consider that to be their North Star. And the North Star changes. There was even a time that Saturn was the North Star to a people. So there is even a association to the Polarians and the Tartarians. But I'm going to get there in a second. But what you see now is a map of Polaris, or where the original Polarians would have existed. Now, before I hit this, I want you to conceptualize this. I want you to think of an apple. There's life inside of the apple, and there is life outside of an apple. Earth is very similar to an apple. There is life inside of Earth, and there is life outside of Earth. I want you also to conceptualize what Earth really is. Life is a Dyson sphere because there is a sun life. Earth is a Dyson sphere because there is a sun in the center or middle of this planet. Now, we want to call it a molten core, a hot core. I don't care what you want to call it. But there is a form of warmth at the center of our Earth. There are then rings or crust that spins around this ball of light. This tattoo is close to a representation of this, where you're basically dealing with good thing about the internet. I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay. So many ask, what is Earth? Is it flat? Is it a cube? Is it a circle? It has a system of rings. So here's the best way to, now this isn't even a good rendition of it. I want you to think of it as having oceans and lands on each layer. But there's this layer, there's this layer, and then there's this layer. And then there's rings. You see this ring? You see this ring? Okay. Now, I personally believe that this is what Earth looks like more than whatever the hell they be telling us. We have a grid, and I don't think we've even accessed this grid yet. I don't even think we have been able to enter into this aspect of Earth yet. I believe we're on this. I believe we're on a ring connected to Earth. But then there is a binary ring. And I believe that this ring has another form of light or a ball within it. And this is what we believe to be extraterrestrials. I think this is what we believe to be like an ice wall. And that this is just a rough view of what this is. I'm just trying to use what's available. This isn't even really what it is. But we can travel to the wall, but we can't get past the wall. But if you were to get past the wall, there's another ring. And this is what I believe extraterrestrials dwell. So this is the world of extraterrestrials that are operating like this. We are on the world of terrestrials, where we're operating here. All right. And then there's interterrestrials, which dwell within here. And it looks like this, but like this. If any of you are actually curious on the layers of Earth. All right, so let me pull this back up. So now if you see this map, you can see the rings that I'm talking about. See this? This is a ring. And I don't think we're even inside of this anymore. I don't even think we're able to access this. We're on the outer ring. And you have to be able to get through this ice wall to be able to go inside, or get through this ice wall to go to the other ring that goes this way. So basically think of it as a ring crosses this way as well. Just don't see it. So anyway, well, this is kind of showing the ring right here, but halfway. So this would be another version if it went all the way through of another ring or another cusp. So anyway, this is North Pole. This is an entrance into inner Earth. This is where what we would consider geneticists or interterrestrials or intelligent life. So basically, you have an apple. You have life inside of the apple, but it is programmed life. It is life that is, condensed light or life. Think of it like a zip file that has to be uncompressed. The life that's inside of the apple is compressed. This is what you are. You are, or was, I'm not going to say you are now, but you are the compression of the universe. So the universe compressed all of itself into you in the form of like a seed. And you are this seed of the universe that was originally placed inside of a planet. You were originally inside of a planet. But then, just like an apple, things can enter into the apple, like a worm. And that worm can actually eat away at aspects of your environment and could even take the seed or leave the seed vulnerable. Let's say that. Leave the seed vulnerable for things on the outside. So, this is what happened to you. You were an internal entity, and extraterrestrials left a hole in your planet. And this allowed other invaders to kind of get to you. And this is then when you became Hyperborean or hyperdimensional. When you became more than just one thing. You kind of became on the inside and the outside. Now, this could be a complicated concept to get, so I'm going to try to take my time with trying to explain this. But this is the easiest way I can try to get you to visually process who and what you are. You are a seed. The colonizer is what colonized an area that was opened up already. And the insectoid species did this. But in essence, you are a seed of the universe, and the seeds of the universe go inside of a planet. It's always been that way. So you originally existed inside of this planet. And then something on the outside of you happened. And on the outside of you, they damaged the macro version of you. So Gaia or Earth is the macro version of you. You are a micro version of Earth. You went inside of yourself. You went inside of this planet. But then there was a battle or complication on the surface of this planet, which left a hole. And then other species started to invade. So as these species started to invade the hole, you could also think of this as sexual. Gaia, a feminine planet, this hole being a representation of her yoni, her vagina, and this outside invading species is now supplanting or seeding this hole. All of this is in reference to what I'm saying. So what we're watching now from this point is an invading species. Every single species I'm about to talk about right now is an invading species. They are invading the decompressing of your seed. Instead of Earth stimulating and letting the process of this seed come into existence, you have been invaded. Okay, for example, I'll give you a piece of fruit grows. The piece of fruit falls to the earth. The earth takes the fruit back and starts the process all over again. You have a piece of fruit. An animal comes by, an elephant, a giraffe, I'm just giving you an example, and takes the fruit. You are now taking away from your original position. You are now getting in motion from an outside entity. Now I want you to kind of conceptualize, I guess that's life. But you have to process what I'm saying. Instead of you staying in your original place, something came along and grabbed you up and either made you a part of them, or they ate of you and then discarded the rest of you somewhere else. All this is symbolic. So the first of these invading giraffes, these invading elephants, these invading species is referred to as the Polarians. They associate to Polaris. They also associate to Saturn, but we will get there. I done talked 40 minutes already. How the hell did I talk 40 minutes already? This is just what I was saying. All right, so this is a depiction of the hole that I was talking about and a map of the North Pole.
Out this map of the Arctic from the 16th century. There are 4 major landmasses surrounding a polar sea with a massive magnetic rock in its center, called Rupus nigra, Latin words for black rock. If we do a quick search through raremaps.com's massive inventory for more like it, we find dozens of similar depictions. Here is one by Dutch cartographer Cornelis de Jode in 1593, another from one of the founders of the Dutch East India Company, Petrus Plancius, in 1594, and one last example, Abraham Ortelius's 1570 world map, and what is considered the first.
Now, if you see up here, this is completely separate from down here. All right, you see this? Remember I told you about these rings. All right. So this whole landmass right here, when it was together, it was referred to as Pangea. Another name for it is Hyperborea. So what you're seeing right here in this section, when they were all together, you know how science says that all the land masses almost fit together like a puzzle. This was a landmass known as Hyperborea. Hyperborea. Hyperborea existed during the same time as Polaris or the Polarians. The Polarians dwelled in the north, while Hyperboreans dwelled in the south, which is then beginning to start this two different forms of existence. You have those that dwell in the north and those that dwell in the south. And Hyperboreans were considered southerners, and Polarians were considered northerners. All right? So hopefully I got this. Now, let's get to the video on Polaris, or the Polarians, I'm sorry.
This will be the first of several videos in a series that covers the ancient history of intelligent life on Earth prior to the current root race. The idea of rounds and root races is nothing new. While many New Age mystics and philosophers have written on the idea for over the past 150 years, the concept has been part of Hinduism for millennia.
So let me just show you what you're dealing with. Remember, I told you we're dealing with two different rings. You got one ring that goes this way and another ring that goes this way. Okay? Now, that's really what we're dealing with. These two convergences. One that goes this way and one that goes this way. And they get interlocked. Get it? Cuban link. This is the Cuban link, because this is what links us to the cube. Cuban link, Tartarian. This is how we all came into the Tartarian matrix. This symbol right here. All right. So you have what we call the cosmic night. And then this is considered the mental plane. Great cosmic night or space, mental plane. And the cosmic night or ether is boiling in the mental plane. I want you to think of this as an egg. Okay? This is egg. This is called the cosmic egg. All right? You see it right here. Cosmic egg right here. And it is encased in a bubble of ether. So think of it as this is the yolk and this is the shell. Yolk, shell. Boiling. Or a nest. You can look at this as a nest. You can look at this as a pot of water that's going to turn this from liquid to solid. This is why I said it is a boiling pot of water, because the mental plane temperature, 98 degrees. I hope y'all connecting these pieces. You have this that represents your plasma. That's fucking fire, light, plasma. You have the plasmatic plane, the mental plane, that has different temperatures. And these temperatures is affecting the cosmic night, space, and the cosmic egg, child, or moon child. All this right here. All right? So, you have to pay attention to this wave. We are dealing with the waves of humanity. All right? The first wave of humanity was the wave of the mental plane. This was then when you see all this back here. This represents the unconscious universes. These are basically the universes that exist or existed prior to getting into this alignment. So all this back here is memories. All this is memories. Memories, 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 memories. But they're chaotic. They're chaotic. Is it a past memory? Is it a future memory? What are we doing here? What do these memories represent? Well, you need to be able to shine. This is like a sun almost. Shine these memories into a plane. So you shine these memories into a mental plane. That's creating memories. Or I'll use a better word. Thus creating total recall. And this is what you're trying to reach, totalitarianism. You're trying to reach the total recall. So in your mental plane, you recalled everything. But as you recalled everything, it still didn't make sense to you. So you had to then enter into another wave of self. Now, the other wave of self then would have been thoughts. So you couldn't just let the total recall or the memories define your existence. You have to then put these memories into thought forms. So then this is where the thoughts come. This is the astral or dream. Here's another word. You have to be able to allow these memories to play out. So in order for these memories to play out, you enter a dream realm, astral plane. And this is the second wave of self. First wave, memory self. Second wave, dream or thought self. The third wave of self would be considered the etherical plane or the emotional plane of self. These memories and thoughts had to invoke emotions. And in your emotional self, you reach to your thought self. Through your thought self, you reach to your mental self. And you need your mental self to obtain total recall. And in order to do so, each one has to be dialed into each other. There can't be gatekeepers. There can't be gates. There can't be separations between these realms, which there is. The mental realm or the academic realm don't want to hear shit about no dream. They used to, but not in today's standard. The Dreamville, the dreamers, they don't care about the scientific validation and for science to tell them if what they're doing is right or not. So if you see here, it's really hidden. The first plane is Tartarian, mental plane. Okay? This is the plane of Polarian, the mental plane. These are time gods. This is where the time gods dwell, within the mental plane, and they have been keeping themselves alive through your mind. Tartarian, astral plane, solar, the solar realm. This is why the sun puts you to sleep so you can enter the dream state. I hope y'all keeping up with this. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the blessing. Thank you so much, Sophia, for the cash out, for the blessing. Let's be balanced, family. $Q Reeves. Let's be balanced, family. Neolin, thank you so much. Michael, thank you so much. Amata, thank you so much. Free Falling, thank you so much. We just now getting into it. I hope y'all didn't think this was about to be like, not no deep dive rabbit hole situation. This is. I just need y'all to conceptualize what I'm saying. And hopefully y'all can see these images that's in this picture right now. Yes, the light that puts you to sleep. Yes, the sun's job is to get you so exhausted, to get you so tired you go to sleep. This is sun god's jobs. They are responsible for keeping you into a system of exhaustion so that you enter into the astral plane and you stay out of your mental plane. So you get tired and go to sleep. Yes. Yes, the light that puts you to sleep. Think of Men in Black. Let me do-doop. Let me Men in Black you. That's a light, right? Do-doop. And it's putting people to sleep, right? Not literal sleep. No. Makes you forget your memories. Make you forget what was just happening to you. The light can make you forget. See, what no one wants to conceptualize is they're saying global warming, the planet's heating up, but no one wants to also say during the same time the planet is heating up in this global warming, people are having difficulties remembering things. How is it that the sun increasing, the heat, the temperature increasing is making us lose memories? Well, what if these memories is or associated to spirits, and spirits can be evaporated? So through more heat and lack of hydration, you can definitely fall into the range of losing one's memories. What if I was to tell you it's possible that simple dehydration is a cause of a lot of the forgetfulness that is happening in our world right now? And if you think everything isn't trying to dehydrate you, then you need to turn around and look at the ingredients and most of the things we have right now. It's all about dehydration. Nah, family, it has nothing to do with negating the outside light. If I give you fire, you can use that fire to illuminate your darkness, and you can read a book that can help solve world peace. That's what you're doing with this fire. You're reading a book that gives you ideologies to spark world peace. Your neighbor got the same fire, and they're trying to burn down the village. What we're doing with these things is wrong. It's not the system itself. The sun is following a directive. The directive is make you go to sleep. But it's because the sun doesn't respect your direction. It is listening to another directive. Jesus, other sun gods, is listening to its directive. But once you enter inside of a space, you possess it. Which is also why I want you to realize they don't care about people. They care about buildings on this planet. And I'm going to get there. I just don't want to confuse y'all. But something has seeded inside of the sun. So now something has possession of the sun. And it now can tell the sun what to do. But all we got to do is make the sun realize that our directions trump its. So basically, remember I tell you, in order to influence something, there's an internal environment and an external environment. And both can factor into something. Both can influence a vessel. Inside and out. We're out. There are entities inside the sun. They're in. The entities inside the sun be saying things like humanity ain't shit. Keep them asleep. We're on the outside supposed to be showing the sun humanity is the shit. That humanity is great. That humanity can do anything. Now we are sun guys. We could shine. We could illuminate. But not when you're scared to speak. Not when you're scared to show up. Not when you're scared to perform. Not when you're scared and don't use your light. How is the sun looking at you like, yeah, I follow your directions? So this has a lot to do with how we're moving as a people, how we're moving as a society. It has nothing to do with, no, I can't go outside now because the sun wants to put me to sleep. No, there is something inside the sun that's telling the sun, put your ass to sleep. You could then influence the sun and say, son, I don't want to be put to sleep. I want to be shown how to illuminate even stronger like you. And then the sun's going to be like, oh, wow, yes, that's what we're supposed to be doing. I forgot. I have amnesia. I forgot I was supposed to be helping you with that form of understanding. Thank you for showing me this. Thank you for wiping the brain fog out. But we ain't doing that. We're fucking up. I hope that makes sense. Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that analogy connection? I hope so. I hope so. Thank you so much, Blue Horizon, for the super chat, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All you gotta do is just start getting the right water. Remember, water is the ultimate. It's called molecules, and molecules contain information. So if you're having issues, you need to get you a good water source and really start drinking you some water. But also programming or intentionalizing your water can be helpful. And in order for a message to be downloaded into the water particles, it takes about 7 minutes. So you can have an intention box. What is an intention box? Well, you basically can get like a cardboard box. You can get a glass. It has to be something real. Cardboard, steel, paper. Just try to get something as natural as possible, a wooden box, whatever. And then you write intent. A wooden box would be the best. And then to carve the intentions in it, oh my goodness. Woo! Get you a wooden box and to have see how I used to do. I used to get spiritually attacked a lot. And what I would do is I would put people in my box. And one of the things in my box would say return to sender. And whoever dwells in the Most High stays in the Most High. And I don't mean like the Most High, like Allah. I mean like, it's like a mantra. As long as I stay high vibrational, ain't nothing gonna be able to touch me. Whatever dwells in the Most High stays in the Most High. If I dwell in the Most High, I will stay in the Most High. And anything I put in this box is going to download that understanding. A wooden intention box. It's powerful. It's powerful. But put your water in the box for 7 minutes. This is my help me remember my memories box. This is what you got. One box that's supposed to help you with memories. You got another box that's supposed to help you with financial security. You got another box that can help with your relationships and get you the water. Make sure it's in like a glass. And then words are light. So the words are actually going to illuminate into the water. And then the download of what you're asking can be infused in the water and you drink it. Works wonders. Simple things like that. Simple things like that. But none of y'all less than. That's what I want y'all to know. Ain't none of y'all less than. Ain't none of y'all not capable of handling whatever is being thrown at you. Remember, you are the compression of the universe. Everything is inside of you. If you can figure out how to bring it out. Coconut water too. Just be careful of GMO coconuts. Just be careful of genetically modified coconuts. All right, so let's keep going with this video though. All right, so the fourth state. Oh, okay. So then you have the etherical plane, Luna. This is emotions. This is why a lot of people be in their emotions at night, because this is another wave of you. And what's crazy is you're remember when I tell you you have an aura or a Taurus field? This is your Taurus field. Now, your emotions, they usually reach out to maybe, I don't want to confuse y'all with distance, but your emotional plane is usually what people refer to as your aura. That's what people see. And your etherical plane or emotional plane extends about 6 feet out. This is why in 2020, it was important for us not to be close to each other, because we didn't want our emotions to influence each other, because they were worried about a CIVIL uprising. And they didn't want a CIVIL uprising. So they wanted to make sure they separate everyone so the emotions don't spark such an uprise. The astral version of you is as far as you can dream. So if you dream big, your astral plane is big. if you have big hopes, because hopes and dreams kind of associate with each other. So if you have great hopes, grand hopes, if you are a great hope, great white hope, if you are a great hope, you can actually extend the astral aspect of yourself. And this is when you start showing up in shadow form around people. And I thought I just saw you. And Q, was you just at the market with me? And I thought I saw a version of you, and doppelganger, and all that stuff falls into the astral plane. You can stretch yourself far. The astral version of you can encompass a planet. The mental version of you can encompass a galaxy. The mental version of you can encompass a universe. This is how expansive your Taurus or arc field can be. But you have to understand, this is about you influencing your time gods or Saturnian version of yourself. The wave, the Saturn wave, Saturn wave, Saturn wave, the solar wave, the lunar wave, the terrestrial wave. Now, y'all would have to wait for future videos for me to get into the 5 and 6. Woo! I've been conceptualized what that is on, what it looks like to go beyond the physical plane. But that's for a different video. And I do have, of course, the names of the 5, 6, and the 7. But right now, each plane has 7 subcategories. So the mental plane has seven subgroups. So if you want to call it like I don't have enough time to get into all that. But basically, because I have to break down this, and I still gotta show you the videos. So this is why I'm trying to not have this a 4-hour, 3-hour video, trying to keep this into 2 hours. But I just have so much stuff to always say. So I guess that would be another video, or maybe I'm going to start publishing some writings. We'll talk about the 7 subspecies of the mental plane, the 7 subspecies of the astral plane, the 7 subspecies of the etherical plane, and then, of course, as you see in this video right here, the 7 subspecies of the terrestrial plane. And the first subspecies of the physical terrestrial plane is the Polarian race. The second subspecies of the physical plane is the Hyperborean race. The third subspecies is the Lemurian race. The fourth subspecies is the Atlantean race. And the fifth subspecies is the Aryan race. I want you to understand there are sub-races. For example, if we think of the Polarian race, a subspecies of the Polarian race would be a Tartarian. That would be a subspecies of the Polarian race. If you want to know a subspecies of the Hyperborean race, a subspecies of the Hyperborean race would be known as the Barbarians, Conan, Spartans. That is a subspecies of the Hyperboreans. A subspecies of the Lemurian race would be the Mews, the Asians, the Moors. That is a part of that connection. It also has a connection to a Bigfoot or a hairy-like species. You then have a subspecies of the Atlantean race, and that would be considered the Tartarian or Mongol species. And then you have this current version of humanity known as the Aryan race. So let's keep going with this video.
Yeah. It is the notion that Earth goes through population cycles, where new races are seeded on Earth every so many tens of thousands of years, and they are eventually destroyed by great natural cataclysms or by their own destructive tendencies. According to this esoteric history, the current species we call human is not necessarily the smartest, most technologically advanced, or even the most genetically superior race to have walked this Earth. Root races have 7 subraces, or various groups of people with varying ethnicities that start their civilizations at various points on the globe. Over the course of these 7
And positions. Remember, the Polarians are dwelling in a 4 continent construct. There are 4 mini islands that surround the North Pole before the whole. This is where these Polarians dwell, these giant or godlike entities. Hyperborea or Pangea dwells right under Polaris. And this is when you're kind of dealing with demigods. All right? Right in barbarians or powerful men of old, Nephilim. Polaris is where the gods dwell. This would be heaven. So what we consider heaven would have been this place known as Polaris, the north. And then hell would be Hyperborea or Hyperborea, which was below in the south. Hell then went through changes. And hell was then broken up into pieces. Some of these pieces were known as Lemuria and Atlantis. So Lemuria and Atlantis are just subspecies of Hyperborea. So some of the Lemurian race chose to be barbarian, while other of the Atlantean race chose to be like wizards. And this is kind of how you have like Batman versus Joker, or you kind of have these two wars between these little skinny mental gods or mental demigods versus these strong, powerful gods. And this is kind of what you're dealing with as well between Lemuria and Atlantis. And then eventually you have then the age of magic, which would basically be like the Aryan race, basically learning the ways of wizardry and brutalism or barbarianism. And the Aryan race is an infusion of this. But I want you to now kind of replace the Aryan race with the word Tartarian. So I want you to kind of think of the 5th race as the Tartarian race. And we're going to get into the Tartarian race in this video. But the Tartarian race is not just a race, it's an order. And this order comes through what we would call an empire. So this is the Tartarian Empire. And in order to have the Tartarian Empire or an empire, you have to have someone be the ruler of this empire. Many don't realize that when they talk about one world order, they're talking about the order of Tartarianism. So hopefully I got enough time to get into this. This is so deep, because I got to show you the buildings of the Tartarian Empire. It's a lot to this.
Subraces, a root race will go through 4 ages, or periods of varying peace, well-being, and prosperity. In the Hindu religion, ages are referred to as yuga. Races start off in their golden age, where abundance and kindness reign supreme. There are no borders or wars, and people live in harmony with the earth. The Silver Age follows, which is just a slightly diluted version of the Golden Age. During the Copper Age, wars begin, and borders are formed. People attempt to own land, and egotism takes root. The last age is the Iron Age, where war, strife, and destruction are abound. Earth's first root race, the Polarians, sometimes referred to as the protoplasmic race, are perhaps the race most different from modern humans.
So let me show you what they will look like. So if you see this right here, these are basically what the original inhabitants look like. They were basically without details, but they were basically smoke. This is where the idea of jinn come out of as well. But they were basically a form of smoke with specks of light all throughout them. This was what the Polarian started as. Now let me show you what the Polarian ended as. This is now a more modern version of a Polarian. And there is a demigod known as Static Shock that is responsible for kind of containing or controlling these sometimes extremely powerful mental beings.
This race was formed on an island at the modern-day North Pole. They were a semi-ethereal race, meaning that their bodies were more energetic than physical. The Polarians had complete control over their physical appearance. If they liked the shape of an animal they saw, they would assume that shape for a time. According to
How does this history tie into the recent one of ours with slavery, etc.? It's a loaded question because I then got to ask, what is your perspective of slavery? Did we get placed here? Were we already here? There's a lot of missing pieces to the last 400 years, including the rising of the Tartarian Empire. So we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. It's a good question, but that's probably another video within itself.
Aztec lore, they were extraordinary dark-colored giants. According to H.P. Blavatsky, they were so ethereal and so little human in constitution, they could not be affected by any elements, flood or fire. They had no need of solid food, for they drew in their vitality from the atmosphere and could travel effortlessly by mind power.
Floods, fire cannot get rid of these beings, these Polarians.
Directed by wish fulfillment alone. Polarians did not.
They were wish gods. Remember I told you this is where the genies come from. Your wish is my desire. These are entities that understood the power of wishes. And them being connected to inter-earth or inner earth or Fantasia has allowed them to bring their wishes into fruition. What if I was to tell you that if you had the right power source, you can manifest anything? Now, this power source is referred to as 0-point energy, and another term of it could be called Vrel energy. But if you were able to access 0-point energy or Vrelia or Vrel energy, anything that you can imagine can manifest itself forward. It is a form of energy that can materialize your thoughts. It's no different than when you see a magician say abracadabra, and he is manifesting the idea that the rabbit is gone and I replaced it with fried chicken. Now, this is just to show you they're tricking you. But in the days of old, this is how it worked. You just mentally imagine it, and then it comes forward. Now, the thing is, during that time, one's thoughts or one's imagination wasn't as distracted or overwhelmed as it is right now. They didn't even eat. So just, I mean, think about, if you told a person to imagine something right now, 1/3 of the people right now will probably imagine food. Another 1/3 is probably imagining sex. If you told people right now, and didn't even, and had like a machine hooked up to them to watch what they would see, they'd go to probably imagine food and sex. And neither of those things were of importance to these species. I would say the sun would be a thought manifestation that came out of the 0 point energy. Hope y'all caught that. I would say the suns, because there's more than one. The suns is a thought manifestation that came out of the 0 point energy. But unfortunately, our thoughts were hijacked like a blueprint. We created the blueprint of the sun, and something gathered up our blueprint and manifested another sun that represents a Tartarian order. A aggressive, basically. Okay, here's the better way. When I'm saying Tartarian, I want you to know I'm talking about the devil. So when I'm saying Tartarian, I'm talking about the devil. We have an institution that is about summoning forward the devil's son, and then summoning forward the people's son. I don't even want to use God. You have the people's son and the devil's son. The devil's son could be referred to as Nibiru or Planet X. And then you have the people's son. Now, do we know what the people's son is? No, because we can't even trust science. But what we will say is we have the people's son, and unfortunately, the people are against each other. But once the people get together and stop having their complications or issues, then, it's going to reconfigure and we're going to come together more. So it's the same for the sun. But then you have this binary sun that's kind of operating out of different principles. There you go. They basically hijacked our sun and turned it into a Death Star while they were actually dwelling on the Death Star. Remember, Nibiru's atmosphere broke up. It was dying. The Atlanteans, the Anunnaki had to create humanity so that they can fix they star. They get it? They brought death to their own system. And remember, misery loves company.
Have a spoken or written language. It was unnecessary for them, as they were a completely telepathic race. Any being could read another being's mind. The Polarians were an inquisitive race, and they wanted to learn everything they could about the world around them, other Polarians, as well as understand themselves completely. Little is mentioned in the literature about the separation between the divisions of the Polarian race's subraces or ages, although it is mentioned that
It has to do with the image I just showed you. You had some Polarians that considered themselves an extension of the universe. That's why within their bodies, it looked like galaxies. They were basically micro galaxies, but they changed themselves. Now, this is about to be really deep, okay? This is what happened to you in antiquity, because you are a Polarian. So this is what happened to you a long time ago. You were originally a micro galaxy. And what happened was you got bored. You were a micro galaxy. And you got bored. So you decided to connect your galaxy Once again, here's the image. This is what happens. Shit is deep, man. This shit is deep. So if you see this, you were originally solo. Take him out the equation. You were solo. But then you decided to come together. Holy shit. Okay? You were solo. Han Solo. Yeah. Adam Solo. By yourself. And then you got bored and decided to come together. And when you came together, all right, let's ask this question. You ever touch someone and it was a shock? Your charge touching someone else, you got shocked? You shocked someone? You ever shocked someone? How many of you experienced that? You connected with someone else? Whoa, you shocked me. Well, one shock here, one shock there. I want you to understand it's called a static charge. In that stagnation, there was something lying dormant in you that sparked or triggered when you touched someone else. This static charge. Now, one static charge here, one static charge there, you know, cool. But eventually, this is what is manifested if enough static charges come together. This is where you get the word hurts. Because when you static charge someone, it hurts. So this is the first manifestation of pain. This is the first manifestation of a static charge. And if you see the focus, the children, and we done fucked around and slept with, because this is also a form of it, slept with other galaxies and created static babies. And we didn't want to acknowledge these static babies. We wanted to hide this static away in a box, in a cube. Remember, static TV. They're here. Poltergeist. What is a poltergeist? Poltergeist. I hope y'all seeing these connections. And the Polarians fucked around and manifested poltergeists that are able now to possess living objects, living entities. Right. Static babies. Wow. Poltergeists. And we just kept on. Galaxy combined it. Just kept uniting more and more systems, not realizing the stagnation. And then you put static with some of these tech gods and you got a whole nother plane of existence. That's why I say, how do I break this down into like 10-minute videos? How the fuck am I supposed to do that? How do I take the flow and just splice it down? Shit is crazy. I don't even know if we can do that.
The Polarians gradually became slightly less ethereal and slightly more physical as they began to imitate other animals within nature. They did not fight any wars, as they were an ethically superior race, especially when compared to the current root race. An emotionally damaging betrayal was the worst act any Polarian would commit, even in their Iron Age.
Betrayal. Worst thing you can do as a Polarian, but yet they betrayed the static. Have y'all even thought about how static is a consciousness? Stagnation.
Polarians reproduced asexually, similar to the manner that single-cell organisms divide. The parent would produce all the necessary material for the new being inside themselves, then would divide in two, and the child would stay attached to the parent for a time until it was strong enough to exist as an independent body. The individuals of this race did not die. Instead, they melted gradually away, becoming absorbed in the bodies of their own sweat-born progeny, the next root race, the Hyperboreans, a new race with bodies more solid than their own.
So basically, he is saying that they entered into their children. Some of these entities continue to expand into what we know as galaxies. Other individuals extended themselves into the static and kind of joined what we would call a technological construct. And while others then chose to reanimate themselves inside of their children. And this is the idea of Hyperboreans, Conan, barbarian, strong-bodied individuals.
So the Polarians were not destroyed by cataclysm. They were essentially perfect beings that could live indefinitely. And their lives only ended when the time allotted to their root race was finished. And even still, some stayed behind to help along the Hyperboreans. Those who did not gave all their energy to produce the next root race. In lore, it has also been said in a metaphorical sense that the Polarians were devoured by the tigers of wisdom. The goal of the Polarian root race was to develop intelligence and compassion within their genome to pass down to future root races, a goal which they accomplished admirably.
All right. Let's flow. No more but your little, you know what I'm saying? Kill, let's flow. Let's go. All right.
The search for the fabled continent of Hyperborea has been an elusive mystery in its own right, almost like a far more rarely mentioned version of the Atlantis myth. Hyperborea translates into English as beyond the north wind. It was often referred to as the land of eternal sun. Greek philosophers and historians hypothesize that it could be found somewhere in Thrace, Dacia, or somewhere just north of those regions. They believed that the god Apollo considered Hyperborea to be his winter home. In truth, a large portion of Hyperborea no longer existed by the time of ancient Greece.
Hyperborea is also considered the north. So you basically cancel out Polaris, and you're now dealing with Hyperborea, a collection of planetaries. A collection of continents, all connected. Once they got connected, they still applied the same principles, north and south. The more indigenous always stay to the south. Those more aggressive always go to the north. So you have, think of it like Europe and Africa. In Europe, they was going ham. While in Africa, they were being more indigenous, tribe-like. Where up north, Europa and all these other areas, they were more aggressive. The Northers always tend to be more aggressive. Because I want you to also conceptualize this. We're dealing with the Taurus constellation and the Orion constellation. And the Taurus constellation is actually influencing what we would consider the North, while Orion is actually focusing on the South. Now, what in the life could validate that possibility? Well, if you just pay attention to these two constellations and the focal points of these constellations, we use a word called bullseye. Bullseye is a term used to describe a star in the Taurus constellation known as Aldebaran. And Aldebaran is considered to be like the capital, like the hub of the Taurus constellation. I got my eye on you. When you see the eye on the all-dollar bill, it's to show allegiance to Aldebaran. An eye is considered a northern or a top construct, okay? Because that is what Taurus focuses on, the north. You then have Orion, and there is a focal point of Orion. We call it Orion's belt. A belt is a southern thing. It's on the lower half of you. So you can see just in the stars, as above, so below. Orion focuses on the south. The Taurus focuses on the north. Now that is planetary. Now, if we're talking about on the body, the Taurus focuses on the southern part of the body, and Orion focuses on the northern part of the body. But on the planet, it's in reverse. But it's always supposed to be that way. That's how you create fields. And in order to have a field, you have to almost have opposing forces. So what Orion and Taurus constellation does on the planet is going to be in reverse on the body. Hopefully that makes sense. But don't see, this channel isn't just for like people just kind of jumping into the esoteric art. This is also a channel for people who have done some work, who have studied, who have observed, who has dialed into some things. And they're now able to use this channel to help put more pieces together. This is why your hips, this is why even this area looks like the horns of a bull. So remember, north, okay? North, Taurus, Tartarian. Where's Donald Trump's properties at? Let's just do a little side situation. Where's Donald Trump's properties at? I'm patient. I know y'all can answer this question. Where's Donald Trump's properties at? There you go. He started north and moved to the south. Some of his highlight buildings is in Chicago and in New York. Yes, he has property in Las Vegas. Yes, he has property in Florida. What if I was to tell you Florida is an extension of New York? Why do you think the Italian mob, New York, set up shop in Florida? And then guess what they did from Florida? The Italian mob went to Vegas. And what if I was to tell you New York is the focal point, the hub of them two sub-Tartarian systems, Florida and Las Vegas? But my point is, Trump has two very, very influential buildings, one in New York, one in Chicago. These are northern cities. These buildings are created off of Tartarian design. Now, I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2 of this, but I'm going to at least leave y'all. I'm not done, but I'm going to leave y'all with this so y'all at least have this. Our government institutions do not care about people. They care about the buildings. They are never created a police force to police people. It is to protect buildings. These buildings are proof of an ancient people. I need you to realize they buried the mounds. They've deconstructed. Okay, Yale. The bricks to make the college Yale came from a Tartarian building. They broke the Tartarian building down and reconstructed Yale from Tartarian brick. They want to claim the buildings of Tartarus. They then want to say Trump is a descendant of the Tartarian Empire. And here is the proof that the Tartarians dwelled on this continent. The world, really. But the continent. Look, the capital of Texas is a Tartarian building. The White House is a Tartarian building. They want to use the buildings as proof. It's like putting a flag into a land. The building is no different than when they went to the moon and plopped the flag into the land and said, this land is our land. The flag is representation of the nation. The building is representation of the empire. They want to get this man in office so that he can be a king of the Tartarian Empire. Now, I got to be careful with getting into what this looks like. We're going to do this slow. I got to do this slow. Don't cancel me like Kanye. We got to do this slow. What color is Trump? What color is Trump? If you were to give him a color, what color would he be? Y'all funny. Pink and orange. Boy. Y'all got it. Oompa Loompa color. Oompa Loompas was actually showing you about the Tartarian Empire as well. He's ginger. He's pale without color. Y'all hilarious. I knew asking that question would have been a loaded question. he is shades of red, orange, and pink. But if we're going to just simply conceptualize, he's a red man. I want you to realize that the Cabal knows exactly what we're dealing with. We're dealing with men of method and men of red. The men of method, or method men, are the men that try to, you know what? The term method, a particular form of procedure for accomplishing or approaching something, especially a systematic or established one. A particular form of procedure to systematically encourage an established order. That is the Orion order. Method man is an extension of the Orion order. Red man is an extension of the Taurus order. And you have both these entities coming together making music. Why? Because they're showing you something way deeper. Okay? So Trump would be considered a red man. He is a Taurus man. He also, by the Bible standards, would be considered an Edomite. Of Edom, the red man. And they've talked about the rise of the Edomites or the rise of the red man in the days of old. This red man is the character like South Park. Relax, guy. Relax, guy. You like gay men, right, Ken? Give me an amen. Amen. Please, Lord, this boy needs Jesus. Heal this child. Help him destroy these demons. Relax, guy. I like gay men, right, Ken? This is all. This is what they're showing you. He is. Okay, come on, bro. Let's do it real fast, real fast. Orion is able to influence you through Venus. Orion has associated itself with an entity you refer to as Lucifer. Orion would be heaven, and this entity known as Lucifer, loosen her. Lucifer is a product of Orion. Before Venus was here on this planet. Saturn was a very, very dominating system. The Taurus constellation has an association to Saturn. So oddly enough, you're basically dealing with these two terms, Lucifer and Saturn. Now, Lucifer is referred to as the morning star. Venus is also referred to as the morning star. Those that operate from a Luciferian order kind of operate from a system that wants to influence mind control. And they feel that putting a female in charge would ease or relax the mind. Why do you think females are teachers? You ever wonder why they chose to let females be the dominant teaching construct to humanity? Why? Because you relax the mind around a female. This is why Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. Do y'all even know what Kamala Harris means? Do you know the word Harris means homeland ruler? Dirty Harry. The word Harris means army ruler. The word Kamala okay, so the word Kamala means lotus flower. So in order for you to know what Kamala means, you have to look up lotus flower symbology. So a lotus flower symbolizes purity, rebirth, overcoming adversary. The lotus flower represents spiritual awakening. The lotus flower represents faithfulness. It means transcendence of man's spirit over worldly matters. But when you add Harris to it, you then get ruler of purity, ruler of spiritual awakening, ruler of rebirth, ruler of overcoming adversary. Why do you think I got this? This is lotus flower, symbolic for the lotus flower. I got to protect my third eye. Luciferians is trying to get your eye any chance they get. Hillary. I'm actually going to do a whole video on that because I got clips. They basically already showed us what it would look like if Hillary got in office and what she wants to do. And if Hillary isn't able to be in office, Kamala is going to be the face. And it's still going to be the Clinton-Obama administration all over again. Allegedly. Now that's if we're on the side of the Luciferians. But then we got to deal with the devil. We got to deal with Satan. Trump. And their goal, the Tartarians, their goal is productivity. I'm going to keep saying that. To produce. And as long as they're able to produce, they're able to sit you down. See, there's a thing being talked about right now called universal income, where we kind of like get a check and just sit down and just get this check, collect this check. I personally feel if Trump gets in office, that he's going to try to get into a position to give everyone this universal income. He would then be looked at as a great leader. I don't got to worry about how I'm going to eat anymore, how I'm going to survive. But you then have a king now that defines when you eat. See, when you work, you gain the benefits, then you decide what to do. If I want to eat filet mignon, I made $100 today. I made $100 this week. And damn, if I want to spend $80 on a filet mignon, I'm going to go do that. I got every right to do that. But if he gets to this point, it is possible that humanity is going to lose that drive. And they're going to wait for someone just to sit them down. Turn. These are two words. To sit you down and to turn you into something different. And that's what Tartarians is working on in their new king known as Trump. Well, then you have these other individuals that are trying to encourage singularity and mind control. That's right, Michael. 60 people. Come on, hit that like button. It's free. A like don't cost a thing. A like don't cost a thing. Now, I feel like we still in this thing, so I'm going to keep going. I can't do it twice. You can watch the video again, though. That helps. If anyone ever worried, in order for a view to count, you got to watch it for 30 seconds. So a view counts. So thank y'all. So I want you to realize Donald Trump is kind of here to reemerge a Tartarian Empire. And I have clips, I have information about the Tartarian Empire. That's going to be a whole nother fun live. It's going to be part 2. While you have another order that is focused on making us hyperdimensional. Or another word would be Hyperborean. Now remember, the Hyperboreans are the children of the Polarians. The Polarians is plasmatic beings that chose to enter their consciousness inside of their children. These large, strong Conan, The Rock, strong Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hulk Hogan, strong entities. So they're trying to get us into the order of Hyperborea, which is the order of demigods, which is the order of the Anunnaki and everything that falls under that order. You got one that's trying to like encourage the Orion Council, Galactic Federation. Well, I won't say Galactic Federation. The Orion Council, because Trump is encouraging the Galactic Federation. And then you got to ask the question, damn, why has the Galactic Federation chosen to work with the devil? What if the Galactic Federation was created by the devil? Should I even do a video explaining to y'all the origins of the devil? It comes up all the time in y'all regressions. Non-stop. Looking like an albino little boy. See, I often know when someone's dialed in when they can see this little albino boy or girl. And I've noticed a lot of women have dialed into this entity, this little albino child. I want you to realize albino doesn't mean Caucasian, doesn't mean a little white child. I said albino. There's an albino child running rampant in your minds. And when they be telling me things like, you know, Q, I've been having a daydream. I seen like this little albino kid in this all-white room. Or I seen like this little boy hooked up to this TV screen. That's the devil. That is Lucifer, whatever term you wanna define it. That's it. But I'm gonna get there. The first devil was a static charge. And then that static charge morphed into more. I don't know if you realize the static charge is a mini Big Bang. Okay? And this little Easter egg I'm giving you right there. You had the macro Big Bang, a macro static charge, and you had a micro static charge. And everything small gets larger. And I even believe that we done got caught up in the micro static charge while we are off limits to the macro static charge. We have yet to even operate the macro universe. We have yet to operate the universe of the mom or mother. We're kind of in the universe of the child. We're in this static charge. Why do you think everything is about All right, let's finish with this clip, Hyperborean. I need y'all to know about the Hyperboreans. Here is a map for y'all of Hyperborea. So then you can kind of see the interest in Africa and the Middle East. But here's a map of Hyperborea. And I got one more map for y'all. This is considered Polaris. This is considered Hyperborea.
Much of it was destroyed in the cataclysm that ended the Hyperborean era. Modern day hypothesize that it could be found somewhere in Thrace, Dacia, or somewhere just north of those regions. They believed that the god Apollo considered Hyperborea to be his winter home. In truth, a large portion of Hyperborea no longer existed by the time of ancient Greece. Much of it was destroyed in the cataclysm that ended the Hyperborean era. Modern-day Greenland, Iceland, as well as parts of Europe and Russia were once part of Hyperborea, or part of the...
Which is Elon and Trump's associated areas. See, I originally had this video titled The Root Races of Earth, Polaris, Hyperborea, and the Tartarian Empire. Elon Musk, their ambassador, and Trump their new king. The Tartarian Empire was big on using technology to make their buildings come to life, and everyone inside of the building benefit from dwelling in a building that is alive. I want you to realize that your house right now has electricity flowing throughout it. This is why there are outlets throughout your home. That means that your house is being powered up, which means it's conscious. So this is why the whole movement of electricity and expanding on electricity is very important. But this is going to be part 2. But I want you to conceptualize, even do a little research yourself. Damn, I've never heard of the Tartarian nothing before. Let me go look into this. Could there be some connections between Trump and Elon and the Tartarian Empire? You damn right. The Tartarian Empire made its great, let's say, introduction at the Chicago World Fair in the end of the 1800s. And it was the introduction to the light bulb. It was the introduction to electricity. All this counts. Now, the difference is Tesla is not a Saturnian. Tesla is a Venetian. So he is basically a Luciferian that has chosen to work with Saturn. It's a whole nother situation. Let me play this video. Woo! And thank y'all for the blessings, y'all. Thank you. Tasha, thank you. Yolanda, thank you. Sealy, Herbs and Botanical, thank you. Michelle, thank you. Tribe vibes, feel me? Tribe vibes. Has the Tartarians had time machines? What if I was to tell you every building that they had connected to Tartarian technology was a time machine? What if I was to tell you this is the whole concept of creating an electric car because that's a time machine, Back to the Future? Why Elon is so obsessed with going back into the future. Let's go to Mars. All these are little breadcrumbs to help you put a bigger picture together. And remember, this is not a lazy channel. I'm not giving y'all every answer. I'm not force feeding y'all ways to think about these things. You're smart enough to expand on some of these ideas yourself. I'm just here with y'all expanding some of these things. I'm having aha moments with y'all. That's the beauty of this. I don't think I'm better than y'all. I don't think I'm smarter than y'all. I don't think I'm more gifted than y'all. I think that we could sit down and start processing a reality different than everybody else. Q Reeves experience. This is why we operating out of this type of cadence. Freedom. This is a free form, free thinking channel. So the idea that you even questioning that, could the Tartarians have time machines? Damn right, if you thought about it. Damn right, if that idea popped in your head from watching this type of video, if ideas are popping up in your head, if new things are surging from this type of video, you're in the right space. When you start tapping into people's content and it feels like you're limiting or almost being boxed in, run. Fucking run. Run as far away as you can. But if you're on a channel that makes you expand the way that you have viewed things or bring up new ideologies, have you even said anything like that before? Tartarians and time machines. Remember, the Tartarians is responsible for antennas. On the original Back to the Future, he had to use an antenna. Yeah, no, hell no. Hell no. But this crazy you give this knowledge up here for free. Most places will make you sign a contract for this. Facts. That's wrong. This is why I just simply ask $1. Be balanced in the life, family. Because the universe, Earth, spirit guides, quantum mechanics, whatever you want to call it, they're providing for me, operating from this position. Just give the knowledge out. You will be rewarded in return. Do I have to suffer a little bit more? Maybe. But the art of exploration is also exploring suffering. You can't say you're an explorer if you never explore some of the harder things, like suffering, like patience. No, I may not have all the money to get things done right away that I want to do, but I'm not going to take advantage of someone to do it. Now, are there certain things that have to be paid for? Of course. But I definitely think if I'm sitting here, if I sat, think about this. I'll give you a real situation. If I sat down and composed a lecture, I took 6 hours out my day, 7 hours out my day, PowerPoints and doing all this stuff. I mean, family, we can't look at ourselves and say our time doesn't matter. We can't sit there and do something for a collective, 6 hours, 7 hours, and not expect anything to be given in return. Well, you damn right. If I was operating on that type of YouTube channel, if that was kind of how I was operating myself, well, then I would have to be almost compensated for that time. But I come up here with y'all real time. I pull up some links to things that I kind of watched throughout the life. I kind of save some things and say this is going to be something good for us to talk about later on. And I just come up here with y'all in real time. And I believe that this is the most genuine I can be. That's why I choose to do it this way. That's beautiful, family. Always feel safe coming to your channel. Open to expand. Thank you, Q. Thank you. Thank us. Thank us. This makes me think about the tower building with multiple strikes and a red-eye center. Hopefully this channel is invoking free thoughts. All right, let's get this video, family. My bad. My little rant. It just, that triggers something inside me. I love y'all.
Many large islands or island continents that surrounded the main continent. The British Isles were also part of Hyperborea, although the British Isles have sunk and risen multiple times over the course of Earth's history. The Hyperboreans, like their Polarian ancestors, communicated telepathically. Even though they were bipedal and shaped far differently, Hyperboreans did not necessarily register themselves mentally as being different from the Polarians at the start of the Hyperborean race's reign. A certain period of time is allotted to land that arises on the Earth, and it is the same amount of time that the inhabitants of that land have to make use of their time in the world.
Wow.
The Polarians were an exceptional race, and were not subjected to a cataclysm.
Damn, he just basically said that lands rise and sink. And you better take your rising serious before the descension period comes. I mean, if that ain't what we're going through right now, damn. So we have a rising period and a descending period, and this even has to do with continents. Puts a whole nother perspective to things. Damn. Woo. Yeah, PC, relax. We don't want you to have to get no protective custody. We don't want the chat to start beating your ass. So chill out, PC. Just peace. Add a little EA and A to your life. Things will work out better for you. Holy shit.
But their children, the Hyperboreans, were born on Polarian land, which had run out of time in the cosmic scheme. The Hyperborean continent rose out of the waters, and the Polarian island became plagued by earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and toxic gases released from the Earth. While the Polarians were completely non-physical, the Hyperboreans gradually became more physical. They lost the Polarians' imperviousness to nature. While they still couldn't drown in water, they could be burnt by fire.
Ooh.
They were now beginning to be subjected to the harsh conditions of the elements, and they suffered in that loss. Hyperboreans needed to eat food. In exchange, the Hyperboreans had much more vivid sensory perceptions than their Polarian ancestors. Although the notion that sensory perceptions could be either pleasurable or painful was a new concept. Their skin was blue in color. While the Polarians were technically larger, they had the ability to augment their size and shape down to the size of a geometric point. The Hyperboreans stood on average 120 feet tall. The bodies of the Hyperboreans reproduced by budding, as is the case with some modern-day plants. New concept. Their skin was blue in color. While the Polarians were technically larger, they had the ability to augment their size and shape down to the size of a geometric point.
So what he's saying is that the Polarians have figured out how to become microcosmos or microscopic. And this is what they've told me. They've told me that the gods of old figured out how to reduce themselves into micro beings and enter inside of their children. So this is when I say, there's the confirmation that they were basically able to micro, make themselves smaller and enter into this new concept known as a Hyperborean.
The Hyperboreans stood on average 120 feet tall. The bodies of the Hyperboreans reproduced by budding, as is the case with some modern-day plants.
It's kind of deep. I don't mean to be like graphic, but like imagine like if our reality got to the point where like a man would ejaculate into the air and the air kind of travels the spermicides to the womb, where there is no like interaction. They're separated. You know what's crazy? Isn't that what like artificial insemination is? It's kind of like you ejaculate into the air, and then it gets frozen and stored, and then they travel these spermicides into the lab, and then eventually insert it inside of you. Sounds like grafting, right? That's interesting. Okay, just little things make you go
New Hyperboreans would grow off the bodies of their parents. The notion of having a family tree is a remnant of this time in humanity's history.
Damn!
Just like the Polarians, the Hyperboreans did not have a division of sexes. All material required to produce new life was held within one being.
Damn!
The Hyperboreans did not have a strong mental faculty of intellectual reasoning. Instead, they had superior intuitive imaginations that could perceive the truth of the universe.
Woo!
As with the Polarians.
So the more we start to connect with the Hyperborean version of ourselves, or any entities connected to us that consider themselves Hyperborean, see, I don't think we realize that certain entities that have attached to us have even forgotten themselves. And them forgetting themselves, they may not even know they are of Hyperborea until you actually research Hyperborea and start to acknowledge Hyperborea. Then they can acknowledge Hyperborea within themselves, and then the principles of Hyperborea. So say the principles of this form of ancient is intuitiveness. You would then develop the superpower of intuitiveness within self. It's like you would almost unlock a heightened degree of intuitiveness. You just kind of know where to go. Be in the right. It's just what intuitiveness comes with that. So this is why it's important for you to remember. This is back to when I started the video in the beginning. Total recall. This is why total recall is very, very important. Totality.
Little is mentioned of the Hyperborean subraces or the division of the four ages. The savior of the Hyperboreans was Quetzalcoatl, whose story passed down to the Aztecs and Mayans. The Hyperboreans were primarily nomadic. This was a necessity as the toxic gases released by the old Polarian lands clouded the atmosphere. Whenever the air in a region became unbreathable, they packed up their belongings and moved. The Hyperboreans succeeded in developing courage against their harsh environmental conditions,
Woo!
but failed in maintaining the universal
That's what we're doing right now, people. Come on. This is deep. We are the children. We are these Hyperboreans, hyperdimensional beings. This is about us.
courage against their harsh environmental conditions.
Yes.
The Hyperboreans succeeded in developing courage against their harsh environmental conditions.
Are you doing that? You doing that? Are you developing courage during these harsh times? I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the attempt assassination and all them people, I mean, they wasn't flinching. I'm like, where's this? You know? I didn't see nothing. At that rally, they were just like, take me out too, motherfucker. You gonna take him out, goddammit? You're taking me out too. Shoot me too, goddammit! You said what the fuck you want. That's courage. Little crash out a little bit. Little crash out culture a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. We are kind of in the middle of a crash out culture. But then there's a level of courage too. Some courage. He going, I'm going too, damn it. I mean, okay. I don't know if you feel the same way about you. See, I ain't willing to do that for someone who ain't gonna do the same shit for me. Cause I promise you, his fat ass is ducking and diving if that shit was on the other foot. Woo!
But failed in maintaining the universal compassion the Polarians expressed. As time went by, each new generation in turn encountered fresh difficulties to be solved, as their ties to physicality strengthened. There was also sudden threats to the well-being and safety of their settlements from natural causes, for the planet's crust remained unstable following the cataclysms which brought the Polarian Age to a close. Gradually, their ideal of controlling and experiencing the empathetic sense as an exploratory skill was supplanted by a lack of sympathy, which would come to be considered the norm, and sadly, in their zeal to overcome attachment, their goal of non-attachment would become confused and be replaced by a hardness of heart, which, by the end of the Hyperborean Age, came to represent a virtue in their eyes. In their final days,
look, family, we cannot become heartless or hardened. We will repeat history. Everything that we've done will be in vain. I need to understand that this is a version of us that's probably 100,000 years old, 50,000 years old. That means that the 50,000 years from this age could go in vain if we repeat this shit. If we go back being hardened, that's another example of the empty. You can't put anything inside you if it's so hard you can't get through to it. This is why it's important for you to still maintain your humanity. Maintain your empathy. To maintain you. That's why it's very, 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 very important. Do not let the history repeat itself in the sense that it doesn't change. Listen. Do not repeat history to the point where it doesn't even change. The repeating of history is so that you can actually learn her story. You've learned his, meaning thoughts. You've learned the thought aspect of those experiences, but you've left out the emotional aspect of it. You've learned the plasmatic aspect of it, but you've left the etherical aspect of it. You've left out the emotional aspect of it. You left her story out. Get back to your roots, family. Budding trees. I mean, think about how much problems females had just from doing these damn Tyler Perry movies. You ever notice that? The women who've acted in these Tyler Perry movies, how unhappy their marriages are, how struggling their heart or love life is. While the Big Mama plant, the mimicking Big Mama Tyler Perry, is sitting here ciphering and slopping up all that divine essence going to him. He building multi-million-dollar projects and studios while these women can't even get their hearts together. Tyler Perry, boy, that dude be, boy. It ain't just him. It's everyone that be playing with Big Mama. And some of these spiritualists be playing with her too. It be pissing me off. I know a story about a spiritualist. They done went into this dude's house. He done dedicated his whole bedroom to an effigy of Big Mama, but it's a phallus. One of the big people that you know on this platform, a female that went to his house, because most of these men on these platforms is fucking nasty and sick and really just about having sex with the divine feminine so they can have astro children. But I know an individual who she came and reached out to me and was like, can you please tell me what I just went through? And I'm like, what? She was like, I went to such and such house. And I'm like, who? And they're like, I went to such and such house. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yes. And let me tell you what's inside his house. I'm like, okay, tell me. She says he sleeps in his living room on the couch. I said, does he have a bedroom? Yes. I said, so why don't he sleep in his bedroom? She says, because he has an effigy of Big Mama in there. I said, what the fuck? What do you mean an effigy of Big Mama? She says, I'm not going to lie. She said, I was able to see it. It's a large phallus. It's a large dick dressed up like a woman. Ciphering, man. Ciphering. It's fucking sick. These motherfuckers are sick. And that's why they don't want me around. They don't like me. I don't give a fuck. They don't need to like me. Y'all sick. I don't need to like y'all. What's wrong with y'all? Every chance y'all get, y'all want to eat away from the divine feminine. And that's eating at yourself. You eating at yourself. You only causing yourself more harm. And then us got to come back and help your dumb ass in the future. Because you got a powerful motherfucker inside you. Talk about a quagmire. I got to hate you for what you doing to our mama. But then in the future, I got to come back and help you. Cosplay goes on every day and we don't even know it. Someone mentioned it in the comments. The person, I'm just not going to say nothing.
Hyperboreans value their goal of non-attachment would become confused and be replaced by a hardness of heart, which, by the end of the Hyperborean age, came to represent a virtue in their eyes. In their final days, Hyperboreans valued their own survival over helping others. After the end of the Hyperborean era, plants were brought to this planet that would adequately clear the atmosphere of the toxic gases that escaped the Earth. The Hyperboreans who did not repent and eliminate their hardness of heart were eliminated by powerful hurricanes. Some degenerates of the Hyperborean race managed to escape the cataclysm. Over the course of countless generations, they became a variety of simian species. Those who did not succumb to these pitfalls became the Nordics of the present root race.
Nordics, which then eventually led to the introduction of a Tartarian species. And this Tartarian species has evolved into the Nazi order. and that there are Tartarian structures on the dark side of the moon. So, Q, are you saying that there's Nazis on the dark side of the moon? Am I? If a Tartarian king comes into power, will that then pardon the Nazis? Whew. So I'm trying to figure out what movie y'all talking about. Look, right here. 'Cause I'm a movie buff. 90s movie, The Society. Is it is it is it this? Is this what you're talking about in this movie? Came out in 1989. Do these ages coincide with races on Earth? Once we start to enter Lemuria. So once we start diving into the Lemurian and Atlantis, see, in Lemuria, we still had our animal essence. And then in Atlantis, they started to play around with genetics. And this is then when you started getting what we would kind of deem as races. But races didn't really exist until the Fourth Age or the Atlantean Age. And then out of the Atlantean Age, of course, rose up this Aryan or Tartarian Age. And the Tartarians were big on race as well, just like the Germans were big on race. But every planet every planet has a opening, and depending on the planet, some have more openings than others. So like Saturn has 6 openings. Can you answer that question about that movie though? That's really what I'm waiting on. So you have one major, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smaller openings within it. Or maybe 5 in here. But it depends on the position of the planet. But this has about 6. I think Venus has 2. Yes, there you go. That's the top of Venus. So it depends on the planet. Each planet has a different amount of holes. Saturn has has the black hole though behind it. So they're basically you can travel to the back of Saturn, and allegedly there's a black hole there that then pops you up to where the Taurus constellation is, and then, other things like that. But I'm going to kind of leave it here. I done said a lot of stuff. Look up the movie Extreme Measures. Okay. I still wanted to get my answer about the Society movie. I guess Valerie done left. She didn't want to answer the question no more. But no worries. No worries. Well, we've been up here 2.5 hours. I didn't even know I was going to be up here 2.5 hours. I'm still even trying to process how the hell 2.5 hours went by. I feel like just started. But I'm going to come back up here. Time is precious. There's enough stuff in this video for y'all to dig deep into. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. Thank you so much for your likes. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much, Camille, Adam, the Dookie, Tanya, Alexander, and Crystal. Thank you so much. I definitely going to get back up here because this is just like an intro. We now got to get into how they're orchestrating Trump to be this new Tartarian king. Okay, here's another image of Trump. If you if you I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Look at your boy Trump, the new Lizard King, King Bowser. This is all for the next time. We gonna get into it. How do y'all feel about a potential like watch party? So, man, okay. First off, my bad. All right. Make sure y'all head over to the website. Y'all can get some of y'all incredible teas. Don't forget, we got 17 days left before the Unlocking the Mind's Eye Wealth and Abundance visual training. I know a lot of y'all like to buy y'all tickets last minute, but when they get closed, y'all can't be messaging me the day of talking about I'll pay whatever. Just let me get in there. I done dropped the ball. I done forgot the time frame. No. Get your tickets, y'all. Get in here and get your tickets. So this is available, and I'm thinking about doing like a watch party for Zoom. So I can do 100 people, and I have movies that are not available. Like you cannot watch these videos streaming. I got Super Mario Brothers. I got In Living Color. Do y'all even know In Living Color? Do you know how many codes and secrets are in the In Living Color series? Oh my goodness. But like I'm thinking about doing like a watch situation where basically it's like a $10 movie ticket. Everybody get their tickets on my website. Up to 100 people can come in, and we're going to watch some of the stuff that you can't watch anywhere else. I mean, I got old Alex Jones. Okay. I'm a fan of collecting rarities, things that are extremely difficult to get. For example, the movie Casper and Wendy. That's not available streaming. But do you know how many downloads and secret gems is in the Casper and Wendy movie? So I'm thinking about doing like a movie thing. Where basically it's probably going to be about 3 hours. We watch the video, and then the last hour, we kind of break it down and do like some little code situations. But I'm thinking about doing like watch parties. And I don't think I could do it on YouTube because playing certain stuff could get me you know, Kanye. So I don't want to be Kanye. So we go do it through Zoom. So I'm thinking about selling tickets on my website, and we do watch parties. And I think I'll put a poll up on my YouTube wall on what videos we should do every week. And we vote on them. And we do like a watch party every week. How y'all feel about that? If y'all feel that that's cool, say I'm down. I mean, I see it. It's damn. Okay. All right. Yeah. But drop an emoji. Just let me know this is something. Because remember, I gotta go buy a Blu-ray thing to hook up to my computer. Like I gotta pay for some things. So don't just be saying y'all go do some shit just because it sound good. Like don't take advantage of me like that. I have to make sure to set everything up. And it takes time, money, effort. So if y'all into like that type of situation, and the good thing about Zoom is I can pin the video so we all can kind of silence and watch it. And then at the end, we can all kind of dissect it. And honestly, even having like a little notes or having like little things y'all could jot down to kind of add to the conversation at the end of the video or TV show or whatever, fire. Like we need to do They Clone Tyrone. Like there's mad stuff we could. What? I just thought about that. That shit would be lit. That'd be lit. Movie time with Q. Ah, that's fire. So I think we're gonna do it. I think I have the Gathering of the Masses on the 10th and 11th. And I think we can set it up for sometime in August after that. I don't know if y'all have a day in mind. So let's kind of think about it. But also remember, if you have the Zoom link, I'll leave it open. So like say you can't make it live. Well, you still have the link so you can watch the video. You know what I'm saying? And I can probably even yeah. We'll have a link. So everyone will still be able to access the video and watch it, even if they can't do it in real time. Yeah. Escape Witch Mountain, 1994. Like I got the 1994 version of Escape Witch Mountain. I mean, tons of stuff that you can't get. Did you know The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? There was a BBC edition, and that there are 2 other videos that dropped on the BBC that are almost impossible to find on DVD. Well, I got those 2. Like, I got it all. I got it all. Where you play it through. Yeah. No stopping. This is like we're at the movies. We go watch the whole thing through. No stopping. It's not going to be like what you see here on YouTube where we stop and interrupt and break it down and stuff like that. Nah, this is movie time. Get your popcorn. Get your whatever you watch it. If you have a home computer, if you can cast it, whatever situation you can have it. I'm gonna provide a Zoom link, and we go get it in. Movie time with Q. I think that's fire. I think it's fire. I love this community. This concept is dope. Yeah, I never even thought about that. And I'm like, I just been collecting all this stuff. What have I been collecting all this stuff for? For one day I can show y'all in person. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even think about it. I could just do a Zoom. We do a Zoom, 100 people. I'm paying for the pro. We get 100 people up there. Fire. Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, that's sick. The rare finds are fire. I'm talking about the rare finds. And if there's something out there that you like, I got Captain Planet. I have all the Captain Planet episodes. So like, I'm even thinking about potentially setting up. See, this is why I'm working on this app. But boy, when I'm talking about people taking advantage, taking money, it is almost one of the hardest things ever to try to get a freaking app situated. But what I do think I can do, because I know how to do a website, I can't figure out how to do the damn app. I'm working on it, y'all. But what I can do is I could probably even create a page on my website that's like a way for you to access a constant stream, where I can have like our own little channel where like 24 hours a day something's playing. And I have all the exclusive rare stuff. So I got the old stuff that gets taken off the internet, You can't find Bobby Hemmett videos like that no more. You can't find Dr. Blair videos like that no more. It's like they're scrubbing. Well, I save everything. I'm a collector of digital context. So I got it. So I definitely think we could get that in. I definitely think that's something we as a collection can figure out. So a lot of those you mentioned are on the Fire Stick as well. Well, let's get it in. Let's get it in. I don't know how many people have access to a Fire Stick. So whatever we gotta do though. But that's it. Appreciate y'all for dialing in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the subscriptions. Like I said, we are on the road to 20,000 subscribers before the end of this month. We got 10 days, family. All right. Just in the time I've been on this live, 50 new subscribers. 50 new subscribers just in the time I've been on live. So it's working. We're doing it. 20,000 subscribers by the end of July, 100,000 subscribers by January 2025. You're going to see a silver plaque right in this area. A YouTube silver plaque right in this area. January by 2025. We got this. We got this. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Till next time.